And it is that time of pregame show, the last one of the season, Tom, and no shortage of topics today here on our Cleveland Browns pregame show. I'm Dan Labbe. We'll be with you till about 12 o'clock. Mary Kay Cabot will join us. Branson Wright will join us as well. And let's get right to it. I don't know what you call it, Partygate, something like that. Johnny Manziel held a party on Friday night. It ended up getting Josh Gordon in a little trouble. He was late. Johnny Manziel was late to treatment. Justin Gilbert late to a team meeting. We're not 100% sure if that's related, but things kind of limping to a finish here for the Browns.
Oh, I think it would be more spiraling out of control. You know, it's amazing that, you know, we're used to having the season kind of end in chaos with Berea. In fact, it's kind of an annual thing. What's weird is it kind of took a long time to get it going this year, but once it got going, I mean, I've been covering the beat 3 years, and even in years past, when I was in Akron, I covered the team. I don't remember a week like this, just where, you know, if the season would have ended last week, it would have ended in disappointment. But I can't remember, when you think about what's going on with Justin Gilbert, Terrence West, Johnny Manziel again, you know, and then with Josh Gordon, it's just like they can't get through a 12-hour period without something going on, and it's just unbelievable.
And, you know, the biggest thing is it's the 2 first-round draft picks. You know, the guys you were counting on. A lot of people are looking forward to those 2 first picks. A lot of people were really looking forward to it after they saw who those picks were, and now you're going into the offseason with a lot of questions about those 2 guys specifically.
Yeah, I think with the one guy, when you talk about Justin Gilbert, I think the big question is attitude. You know, the little I've seen of him on the field, I don't mind him. I think there's something there. But clearly there's issues with attitude, with professionalism. Those are going to have to be addressed in the offseason. I think it's more complicated with Johnny Manziel. You know, you have some of those same professionalism questions, obviously. I'm not convinced right now, and the little I've seen of him, he's going to be a player. And that's a much bigger issue off the field. And then when you throw in all the off-the-field distractions, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of weeks with him.
And, you know, it comes after a week where both of them said, you know, they know what they need to do. They know that they need to get better. You know, Johnny Manziel said he was going to work harder and do what he needs to do. And then this, and, you know, it's kind of like, don't tell me, show me.
Well, you think about it. Johnny Manziel was saying that at the Combine, right at the draft, that he's going to take things more seriously. So, you know, I guess it's talk is cheap, this type of thing. You're exactly right about showing me. But again, it's not with him. It's that and the idea that, boy, what he's shown us on the field hasn't been very impressive to this point. So it's going to be a tough one to swallow for the organization. And then you know the whole other level, Dan. We're talking about the first-round picks. Josh Gordon a year ago led the league in receiving yards, was an All-Pro. To me, in what we've seen around, he just does not look like he wants to be in Cleveland. And this is going to get really interesting and could get really ugly here in the next couple of weeks as they fight over this. You know, whether this was an accrued year or not, it's just absolute chaos. And I hate to say that for Browns fans, but that's where they are, and they're back here again.
Kind of looking back, you know, remember what Ray Farmer said at his press conference about Josh Gordon. A lot of people were sort of critical of it. You know, they said, I know I said it, if Josh Gordon's going to be playing, you're going to feature him in your offense. And Ray Farmer, before Gordon came back, kind of pumped the brakes on that a little bit. And now it kind of looks like he was onto something.
Yeah, I think that I think both he and Patton have tried to they're trying to establish some you know, some order here, trying to, you know, with Gordon, you know, the offense was the receiving. What's weird is the receiving core was playing pretty well, and it hasn't been very good since Gordon's been back, and it seems like a ridiculous statement because he's such a talent, but they haven't been the same offense since he's returned.
All right, well, there is still a football game, of course, to play. What was your prediction today?
I think like 21-10 Ravens. You know, certainly you expect the Ravens to win today. I think that the Browns just want to get this thing over with and get into the offseason and see where they go from here. It is amazing, Dan, that this team was 7-4 not long ago. And, you know, right in the thick of the playoff race. And that's the weird part of this whole thing is that you know, couple weeks ago there was such optimism for the season, and now it's just back to where it's been so many times.
Yeah, Yeah, it was November 6th. They were all alone in first place at 6-3, and people were talking about maybe this game getting flexed to that Sunday night, and now here we are just kind of playing out the string. Baltimore still something to play for. We're going to continue to talk about, of course, Josh Gordon, Johnny Manziel, and the game that's happening at M&T Bank Stadium. Branson, Wright, Mary Kay Cabot will join us. Tom, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, and we continue. Again, we'll be with you till noon. Branson Wright joining me now, and then Mary Kay Cabot will join us to wrap up our pregame. Branson, we are live at M&T Bank Stadium. Nobody really talking about this game because of a party that happened with Johnny Manziel. Josh Gordon suspended today. Of course, Johnny Manziel was already out. Manziel was late for treatment. Gordon was late for a walkthrough. Justin Gilbert isn't active today. Apparently, he was late for a team meeting. This is kind of how Brown's season ends, huh?
Wow, and it was supposed to be so much discipline this year, so much about changing a new leaf and that type of thing this season. And when you're winning, all of that was happening. But all of a sudden, the team starts to lose, and everything seems to be falling apart from the seams.
But, I guess to play devil's advocate, is the fact that Gordon is suspended and the fact that Gilbert isn't active and the fact that we are seeing real action against these things, is that at least a good sign that maybe Ray Farmer and Mike Pettin aren't going to stand for this stuff?
Well, it's a good sign, but you want to question on what led to this. And they talked about being a Brown, playing like a Brown, and that type of thing. But somewhere along the line, since something has happened, you would have hoped these things would have been nipped in the bud. But maybe it is just a new thing. Maybe all of a sudden they just decided to be rebels, if you will. But it is a good thing that they are trying to nip this thing in the bud. But sometimes the best thing to nip things in the bud is when you can possibly release somebody that they no longer belong in your program. So this offseason is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and we'll kind of see what the Browns do with Josh Gordon. Of course, there's that battle between the accrued year. There's what they want to do with him in the offseason. I'm sure they'd like to delay that year of free agency, even if they do want to trade him, because obviously that makes him more valuable. This isn't going to be pretty, though, is it?
No, it's not. It's as I said, just some strange things have been going on these past few weeks. And if they want to establish themselves as the being like a Brown and playing like a Brown, then the way to start is what they've done today of having guys sit out. But if you have the threat of letting a guy go, there's no guarantee that they're going to get picked up by a team that they probably would like to play for.
That's true. The game itself, obviously Baltimore is still playing for something. They need help if they get a win. With all of this swirling around, is there any way that this Browns team can kind of get up to try and play spoiler?
No, I don't. Well, let me put it like this. They can get up as much as they want, but the Ravens have more to play for. And the interesting thing it'll be with the scoreboard watching, depending on what happens in the Chiefs and Chargers game, and if somehow the Chiefs are losing badly, how will the Ravens react if they're winning or if the game is close? So, but either way, I think it's a thing for pride. It should be for both teams. I mean, you are getting paid to play, so hopefully it's a pride thing. And as far as the Browns concerned, that they come out to at least try to finish 8-8, which will be a great thing for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, it's the weirdest feeling 8-8 probably in a long time, because I think at the beginning of the year, lots of people would have said, "I'll take 8-8," but they were 6-3. They were all alone in first place. You've got this to end the year. It just feels like, man, you hate to say this, but same old Browns.
Yeah, same old Browns. But if they do finish 8-8, it won't be the same old Browns as much, because when was the last time they had a record like this? You have to go back, I think, to 2007, when they to have anything close to this record. So again, it's about pride. It's about something to build on in the off season and going into next year.
What was your pick?
I pick the Baltimore-Ravens, the pick, and I don't even know what the score I picked. Probably I think by 2 touchdowns. But again, we'll see. But definitely the Ravens are the favorite, and I think the Ravens will win the game.
All right, that's Branson, Wright. Mary Kay Cabot will be with us shortly. We're going to take a quick break on our Cleveland Browns pregame show on cleveland.com. All right, and wrapping things up on our Browns pregame show live at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Browns and Ravens. Haven't really talked much about the game, Mary Kay, obviously because of the situation with Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon, now Justin Gilbert. Not really the way the Browns wanted to end things.
No, I mean, this is just, it just keeps coming, I was involved in, writing the story about Johnny having the party that Josh attended, and it got both of them in trouble, and then the news comes out about Justin Gilbert being inactive for being late to a team meeting. The disturbing thing about that is we talked to both Johnny Manziel in the locker room and Justin Gilbert in the locker room this week. Both of them said they've grown up, they've matured, they've got the problems corrected. It was just Friday that we talked to Justin Gilbert about that, and then supposedly Saturday night he was late again for a team meeting and is inactive today. What a horrible way for him to end his season, and you know what? It's just very disappointing all the way around. On one hand, you can say they're holding these guys accountable and bringing the hammer down on them. On the other hand, you have to start wondering, why are all of these guys kind of going off the rails like this?
Yeah, of course, one of the more disturbing parts as well is these were your 2 first-round draft picks, and on top of that, you've had Terrence West, who's been inactive at times, and he hasn't been able to stay in the lineup because of practice habits and things like that. So the draft outside of Joel Bitonio, really a little bit shaky right now, to say the least.
Well, Chris Kirksey has been pretty good too. So, but yeah, the other three of the top 4 picks just haven't really been what the Browns expected this year, either on or off the field, and it is a major concern that they have to get addressed. Now, supposedly Terrence West is going to start the game today, so it shows that maybe he's gotten it together a little bit, but at any given time, you've got another one of these guys kind of going outside the lines and doing things that the team does not appreciate or approve of. So they've got to get a handle on this and try to figure out what they're going to do with these guys.
Let's start with Josh Gordon. Obviously, they have to work out this accrued year thing. That's not going to be pretty. What's going to ultimately happen with Josh Gordon? Are they going to look to trade him? Are they going to have to release him? How do you think this is all going to play out?
You know what? I think they'll probably explore trading him at some point, because I think there's just going to be bad blood after this. I don't know. I just think it's probably just sort of the last straw in terms of just trying to stay on good ground with him between those two. And then the other thing to consider with him, he still is only 1 strike away from violating his program, and then he would be suspended indefinitely. So, Ray Farmer's not huge on a superstar receiver to begin with. I don't know if how long he will put up with one that is giving him problems.
Yeah, and Ray Farmer took some criticism at his press conference earlier this year when he kind of said they're not going to build their offense around Josh Gordon. He kind of pumped the brakes a little bit on the excitement of Josh Gordon coming back. Gordon comes back, has that great game against Atlanta, but now Ray Farmer looks like maybe he was onto something.
Well, yeah, and we kept on trying to press him that day and saying, what's up? What is he doing? What is he not doing? And, he must have known that there was a level of commitment that he was looking for that he wasn't seeing. And, it's just amazing to me that some of these guys, Johnny, Josh, Terrence West, Justin Gilbert, are not towing the line and doing what they're expected to do.
So ultimately, how does it reflect on the Browns with this happening? You kind of mentioned it, that on the one hand, these things are happening, but on the other hand, they are trying to at least take corrective action. How does that reflect on this front office and this coaching staff?
Well, I think pretty good, but I think they're going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit on the players they're acquiring. Now, they inherited Josh Gordon, But some of the other guys, you know, when you have 3 of your first 4 draft picks that are displaying, you know, this kind of behavior, you can get away with, if you have a very solid foundation surrounding the team and good leadership, you can get away with a couple of guys that are going to take a little time to get it together. But you can't have 3 of your first 4 draft picks all kind of doing the same thing. So I think that they need to rethink their interview process and re-examine the kind of people that they're bringing onto the team.
There is a game. The Ravens still playing for something. Of course, the Browns, trying to finish 8-8. It would be a weird 8-8, but trying to do that. What was your pick for this game today?
Oh, I picked the Ravens. It was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, they're home where they never lose. They've got everything to play for. The Browns have an undrafted rookie starting at quarterback, and then there's just a lot of controversy surrounding the team and swirling around. Again, that's your best wideout now, supposedly, that's not playing in this game. And, there's just too many things going on. I don't see the Browns winning.
One more question about Connor Shaw. We haven't even talked about Connor Shaw. What if he comes out today and kind of does what this team sort of expected from Johnny Manziel? Not that he would be the long-term answer, but does that kind of say something about Manziel if Connor Shaw is able to come out and play well?
Yes, it does say something about Johnny Manziel, because we've known since the day that he got drafted that he didn't work hard enough, that he partied too much. We saw it. He was all over the country. It was all over Instagram. It was all over Twitter. We saw it everywhere. And the more we actually wrote about it and we tried to tell Johnny, basically send the message that, hey, you know what, you're not doing what you need to do, the more he basically was like, hey, you know what, I have this. And so if Connor, who is praised for his work ethic and his competitiveness, comes out here and operates the offense more efficiently than Johnny did against a good defense, I think that speaks volumes.
All right, that'll do it. Our final Browns pregame show of the year. Thanks to Branson, Wright, Tom Reed, and, of course, Mary Kay Cabot. I'm Dan Labbe. We'll have full coverage of the game today at cleveland.com/Browns during and after, all throughout the day, posts there. As always, thanks for watching.